When you look at the Buffalo Bills roster for the upcoming season, one question stands out loud and clear. Which position group inspires the most confidence heading into the grind of another NFL year, with training camp well underway and eyes firmly locked on every rep, every formation, and every bit of chemistry being built out in Rochester? It's time to take a real honest look at the hierarchy of strength across this team. And let me just cut to the chase. When it comes to confidence, it all starts with the quarterback position. You got Josh Allen. That's it. That's the whole conversation. He's the most durable quarterback in the league. He's elite. He's dynamic, and he's the reason this team is viewed as a consistent contender. There's no real depth behind him that moves the needle, but that doesn't matter much when your starter is one of the very best in the entire sport. The Bills could roll into the season with just Josh Allen and a clipboard holder, and you'd still feel great about the quarterback room. That's how big the gap is between Allen and the rest. Right behind that, though, is a unit that doesn't get nearly enough love nationally: the offensive line. And listen, Bills fans have lived through some inconsistent offensive line play over the years, but this group is bringing stability. Not only are they returning their top 9 guys from last season, they've added more muscle with a solid draft pick and veteran Kendrick Green. Aaron Cromer is coaching these guys up. And there's a rare blend here: experience, young talent, and depth. There's a proven starter at every spot, and guys like Alec Anderson and David Edwards could start for other teams. That's how deep this line is right now. The foundation is solid, and when the trenches are steady, everything else has a chance to click. Next up is running back, and this one might surprise some people, but the Bills are absolutely stacked at this spot. James Cook is your clear lead back, but behind him, you've got Ty Johnson and rookie Ray Davis, who's been turning heads in camp. All 3 of these backs bring something different to the table. Cook's got that burst and receiving ability. Johnson's a steady veteran with juice, and Davis is physical smart and ready to contribute right away. It's not just about having good backs, it's about having a complete trio. You can play any of these guys on any down in any situation. That versatility is gold for Joe Brady and this offense. Then we shift to the cornerback room, which is deeper than it's been in years. Christian Benford might be the most underrated player on this entire team. He's playing like a legitimate #1 corner. You've got first-round talent in Kaya Elam and promising upside in rookie Maxwell Hairston, pending his injury situation. Dane Jackson's still around providing dependable depth. Dorian Strong's another intriguing young piece, and Taron Johnson is arguably the best nickel corner in football. There's legit talent at every level in this group, and for the first time in a long time, it feels like the Bills aren't just patching things together at corner. They've built a real room here. Coming in next is defensive end. There's a blend of experience, youth, and upside that gives this group a high ceiling. Greg Rousseau is quietly developing into one of the most well-rounded edge players in the league. AJ Epineza has carved out a clear role and delivers steady pressure. Add in Michael Hoke's physicality and versatility, the wild-card talent of Javon Solomon, and the long, explosive Landon Jackson, and you've got waves of pass rushers who can keep rotating and stay fresh. Let's not forget Joey Bosa either. If he's healthy and motivated, he's still capable of game-wrecking dominance. This group might not have that one superstar sack artist, but together they create a lot of problems for opposing offensive lines. At linebacker, it's a bit more of a mixed bag, but there's reason to feel optimistic. Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano together form one of the smartest, fastest linebacker duos in the league. Milano is still elite when healthy, and Bernard showed last year that he can handle the responsibilities of a modern middle linebacker. Injuries are the main concern here, especially with Milano coming off a significant one. But you've also got Dorian Williams developing behind them. Shaq Thompson added as a veteran presence, and some real depth pieces like Joe Andre and Edefwan Ulofoshio. If this group stays healthy, it's strong. But there's a little bit more of a gamble here compared to the other units. Sliding in after linebacker is the tight end room, and it's another unit full of potential. Dawson Knox is a known quantity, tough, reliable, and steady in the red zone. But the real star in the shoe making is Dalton Kincaid. He's got the skill set to be one of the league's best receiving tight ends, and if this offense features him more in year 2, look out. Behind them, Jackson Hall has quietly had a strong camp and looks like he'll fill that traditional inline role well. He's physically blocks with intensity, and he fits the mold of what you want as a third tight end. There's real variety in this room. Guys who can do different things and give the offense options in how they want to attack. Now at wide receiver, things get a little murkier. There's talent, yes, but it's young, unproven, and still developing. Khalil Shakir has the trust of Josh Allen and is poised for a breakout. Curtis Samuel brings veteran savvy and explosiveness. And Keon Coleman, while he's had a strong camp, is still a rookie learning the ropes. His contested catch ability is elite, but he doesn't separate consistently, and that could limit his impact early. After that trio, the depth is a bit of a grab bag. Justin Shorter, Andy Isabella, even KJ Hamler are all in the mix, but no one's locked into a clear role. The group has upside, but it's also the first position on this list where you can sense legitimate questions. That doesn't mean the wide receiver room is bad. It just means there's more we need to see before locking in full confidence. Now we start to get into the real question marks, and that begins at defensive tackle. Ed Oliver is still the guy, and Daquan Jones is a reliable veteran when healthy. But the depth is almost entirely unproven. Rookie Dwayne Carter has potential, but is still raw. Dion Walker and TJ Sanders are unknowns at this point. And if Ed Oliver continues to be inconsistent, or if Jones takes another step back physically, this group could be in trouble fast. There's potential, yes, but it's buried beneath a mountain of uncertainty. The hope is that some of these young players pop during preseason and give this rotation more juice. And then finally, at the bottom of the list, we land on safety. Taylor. Rapp is the only player in this room that feels like a sure thing. He's smart, physical, and capable of wearing multiple hats in this defense. But beyond him, the picture gets blurry. Cole Bishop is a rookie with promise, but there's no way to know how he'll handle NFL speed and complexity until he's out there. Damar Hamlin is a great story and solid depth, but there's a clear ceiling on his game. Derek Forrest and Jordan Hancock are intriguing, but again, it's all projection. If Rapp goes down, there's a big drop-off in terms of proven reliable play. This is a position that could get tested early and often, and the lack of clarity makes it the biggest concern heading into the season. And yet, as much as that safety room raises questions, the big takeaway from this whole exercise isn't about the concerns, it's about the strength. We just ran through 10 position groups, and it wasn't until number 8 or 9 that you even had to raise an eyebrow. That speaks volumes about how deep and well constructed this roster is. From top to bottom, this team is built to contend. The core pieces are there, the supporting cast is strong, and there are young players pushing to take on bigger roles. It's not just about having star power, it's about having layers. And the Bills, as of right now, look like a team that's got both. Now, let's shift the lens a little and talk about something every Bills fan, and really every football fan, has been waiting to see unfold: the team's appearance on Hard Knocks. This is more than just a reality show for diehards. It's a front row seat into the soul of a team. And when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, there's a lot to unpack. The first episode is always about setting the tone, and all signs point to this one doing just that. Introducing the Bills to the world, but not in a surface level highlight reel kind of way. We're talking about real behind the scenes looks at the heartbeat of this franchise. You better believe Josh Allen is going to be a huge part of that spotlight. He's the face of the team, the emotional engine, the guy who can walk into any room and change the energy just by being himself. His leadership, personality, and connection with fans make him a natural star for a series like this. And then you've got head coach Sean McDermott, who's not always the most expressive guy publicly, but behind closed doors he's respected, calculated, and fiery in his own way. Combine that with general manager Brandon Beane's straightforward, no-nonsense approach and Dion Dawkins' larger-than-life personality, and you've got a perfect mix of leadership fire and fun to anchor episode 1. But Hard Knocks is never just about the stars. It's about the stories, the fringe guys, the rookies grinding to make the team, the vets chasing one last shot. And in Buffalo, there's no shortage of compelling storylines waiting to unfold. KJ Hamler is someone to keep an eye on. He's battled through adversity, injury, setbacks, questions about his role, and now he's got an opportunity to show he still belongs. His energy is electric, and if he flashes during the preseason, don't be surprised if Hard Knocks turns him into a fan favorite. There's also Steven Gosnell, the long shot wide receiver who's trying to carve out a place in a crowded room. These are the kinds of guys that Hard Knocks loves to elevate. The underdogs with grit, hustle, and personality. Someone you've never heard of suddenly becomes a must-watch storyline every Tuesday night. And then you've got rookies like Joe Andre, a hometown guy who's got a chance to live every kid's dream by making the Bills roster. That kind of local hero energy mixed with strong camp performances is exactly what producers look for when shaping narratives. Dalton Kincaid, too, has a real chance to grab some of the spotlight. Last year, he showed flashes of elite receiving ability, but now he's stepping into year 2 with higher expectations, more chemistry with Josh Allen, and a coaching staff that wants to use him more creatively. There's a bit of a redemption arc there, less about failure and more about untapped potential. And you better believe they're going to follow Tre'Davious White closely. After what he's been through with injuries and the grind of returning to form, his journey is tailor-made for hard knocks storytelling. Whether it's his rehab, his leadership, or his emotional connection to the game, there's a depth to White's story that people will gravitate toward. Now, shifting back into roster dynamics, to one of the most fascinating conversations heading into the season revolves around the future of the Bills' interior offensive line. This isn't the flashiest storyline, but it's quietly one of the most important. David Edwards and Connor McGovern are both playing on expiring contracts, and with Buffalo already paying significant money to their tackles, there's simply no financial room to bring everyone back. Decisions are coming, and the one name that stands out as a clear priority is O'Cyrus Torrence. Torrence was drafted by this team. He's the youngest of the group, and he has the highest ceiling. Those 3 things alone give him a leg up in the race for long-term security. He's already flashed serious potential as a mauler in the run game, and he's improving in pass protection. More importantly, he represents cost-controlled talent at a premium position. That's gold in today's NFL. And while it would be great to keep all 3, the math rarely works out that cleanly, which means guys like McGovern and Edwards may be playing for their next contract somewhere else. But here's where things get interesting. The Bills aren't walking into 2026 empty-handed if those veterans leave. There's a developing pipeline of young talent that the coaching staff is clearly excited about. Tylan Grable is one of those names you keep hearing. He's been a camp darling for 2 years now, showing steady development and the kind of versatility that makes him valuable. Alec Anderson's another one. He's flashed in preseason action and might be a legitimate candidate for a bigger role. And don't sleep on Cedric Van Pran-Granger. He's raw, but he's got the tools to be a long-term piece. Mike Edwards is another sleeper, an athletic interior lineman who might be more ready than people think. It's not just about replacing production, it's about developing it, and the Bills are clearly planning for that. While we're on the topic of young players, let's talk about Keon Coleman. He's been one of the more talked about names this offseason, and for good reason. There's a clear skill set there. Big catch radius, strong hands, physicality at a catch point. But there's also a fair question that needs to be asked. Can he separate? Can he create space? Because in today's NFL, separation is king. And if Coleman's going to live up to his potential, that's where the growth has to happen. Watching him in camp, you see some of the limitations. He doesn't have elite burst. There's a heaviness to his feet at times. He's not going to snap off routes with the kind of explosion that scares corners. But that doesn't mean he can't win. What he's doing is developing a feel for leverage, understanding how to use his frame, how to shield defenders, how to make himself available in traffic. He's becoming more physical as a route runner, more aware of where the soft spots are in zone coverage. And while you might not want to send him on every route in the tree, there's a clear role for a player with his tools. He doesn't need to be Stephon Diggs. He just needs to be himself and carve out a role where he can contribute consistently. The Bills drafted him for a reason. Josh Allen reportedly pounded the table for him, and now it's on Joe Brady to figure out how to weaponize that frame, those hands, that toughness. Expect red zone targets. Expect back shoulder fades. Expect a heavy dose of situational football where Keon's strengths are the focal point. He's not going to win every route with separation, but if he can win enough battles with his body and his IQ, he'll get more than enough targets to make an impact. Training camp is also the time of year where fans start to read into every play, every rep. And there's always this temptation to overanalyze whether the offense is dominating or the defense is standing tall. But honestly, a balanced back and forth between units is probably the best thing you can ask for. Last year, Josh Allen was lighting up the defense in camp, and that should have told us something. In hindsight, the pass defense wasn't where it needed to be. Third down defense was shaky. And while Allen's brilliance was never in question, the lack of resistance in camp was a bit of a red flag. This year, it's been more competitive. The defense is making plays. The offense is answering back. There is a rhythm, a push-pull to the practices that suggest this team might be more balanced across the board. You don't want one side of the ball consistently dominating the other. That's not a good sign. What you want is competition. Iron sharpening iron. Players being tested by their own teammates in ways that make Sundays feel more manageable. Now, that's the kind of camp the Bills are having, and that's the kind of sign you want to see if you're a fan. And when you think about depth, that theme keeps popping up again and again across this roster. Tylan Grable looks ready to step in and tackle if needed. Jackson Hall is quietly developing into a rock-solid inline tight end who could absorb Dawson Knox's role in a pinch. Ray Davis has already shown he can handle carries and pass protection. Dorian Williams, despite being dinged up, has the range and instincts to fill in at linebacker. There are rookies and second-year guys on this team who look like they're ready to step in if the call comes. That matters. That flexibility is what allows a team to survive the grind of an NFL season. This team has layers. It has leaders, it has young talent, and it has a coaching staff that seems to understand the strengths and limitations of its roster. There are still questions, there always are, but there's also a quiet confidence building around this group, not just from fans, but from within. And as Hard Knocks gets rolling, as preseason games get underway, and as roles begin to crystallize, what we're seeing is a Buffalo Bills team that's not just trying to compete, they're trying to evolve. Trying to hit the next gear, trying to take everything they've learned from past seasons, from heartbreaks and highlights, and mold it into something sharper, smarter, and more complete. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The sports world is abuzz with speculation following the surprising news that Joe Burrow, the charismatic quarterback who has been the face of the Cincinnati Bengals, may be on his way to becoming the new quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Rumors have been swirling in the NFL circles, suggesting that Cincinnati might be ready to part ways with Burrow, a move that would send shockwaves through the league given his stellar performances and leadership. For Buffalo, acquiring a player of Burrow's caliber could signal a major shift in their strategy, potentially positioning them as a dominant force in the AFC. This speculation has created a whirlwind of discussions among fans and analysts alike, who are now pondering the potential impacts on both teams' futures. The idea of Burrow trading his Bengals jersey for the Bills colors has ignited debates about how this could change the dynamics of the AFC East, and whether Buffalo is prepared to invest heavily in building a championship-caliber team around their new quarterback. As this rumor gains traction, it has become a hot topic across sports media platforms, with insiders hinting that talks might be more than just hearsay. The possibility alone is enough to stir excitement and anxiety, making every upcoming game and team decision a focal point of NFL conversations nationwide. For now, fans are left to imagine what the future holds should this potential blockbuster move come to fruition, keeping everyone on edge as the NFL offseason unfolds. The Cincinnati Bengals, historically known for their tenacity and competitive spirit, might be facing a difficult crossroads if they indeed lose Joe Burrow to the Buffalo Bills. Burrow, who has been instrumental in leading the Bengals to recent playoff appearances, has become synonymous with hope and resurgence in Cincinnati. His ability to read defenses, combined with his calm demeanor under pressure, has made him a valuable asset that the Bengals might be hesitant to let go of. However, whispers from team insiders suggest that financial considerations and long-term planning might be motivating the Bengals front office to explore other options. If the Bengals choose to trade Burrow, it could be a strategic gamble aimed at securing draft picks and rebuilding their roster around a new core of players. This rumor has left Bengals fans divided. Some feel betrayed at the thought of losing their star quarterback, while others understand the business side of the sport. The prospect of losing Burrow could also affect the team's morale and performance in the short term, raising questions about the Bengals' ability to maintain their competitiveness in the AFC North. Despite the uncertainty, Cincinnati's management remains tight-lipped, fueling further speculation and anticipation about the team's next moves. The impact of this potential trade will undoubtedly ripple through the league, affecting draft strategies, team dynamics, and fan engagement on multiple levels. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills appear to be positioning themselves for a significant upgrade at the quarterback position, should the rumors about Joe Burrow's arrival prove true. Buffalo, known for its passionate fan base and competitive spirit, has long been searching for a franchise quarterback who can lead them deep into the playoffs and potentially secure a Super Bowl title. The idea of bringing in Burrow, a proven playmaker with impressive stats and leadership qualities, has sparked excitement throughout the Bills organization and its supporters. Speculation is rife that the Bills might be willing to offer a substantial package, including multiple drafted picks and key players, to convince Cincinnati to part with their star quarterback. Such a bold move could drastically change the Bills' offensive strategy and elevate their status within the league. Analysts are already debating how Burrow's style of play would complement Buffalo's existing roster, particularly the talented receiving corps and defensive unit. The potential acquisition also raises questions about the future of the Bills' current quarterback situation and whether the team would consider transitioning away from their incumbent starter. This possible transaction could reshape the AFC landscape, making Buffalo a team to watch in the coming seasons. For fans and commentators alike, the idea of Joe Burrow in a Bills uniform is a tantalizing prospect that promises drama and intrigue as the NFL offseason progresses. From a broader league perspective, the rumor of Joe Burrow moving from Cincinnati to Buffalo introduces a fascinating scenario that could redefine the power balance in the NFL's AFC divisions. The Bengals, having recently emerged as a strong contender in the AFC North, would face the challenge of rebuilding without their marquee player, potentially opening the door for rival teams to capitalize. Conversely, the Bills could consolidate their position as one of the conference's elite teams by adding Burrow's dynamic playmaking abilities to their arsenal. This development would also ignite fierce rivalries and reshape playoff predictions, forcing coaches and analysts to reconsider their strategies. The ripple effects would extend beyond just these two teams, influencing draft day decisions, free agency moves, and even coaching changes across the league. As the speculation grows, fans of both franchises are bracing themselves for a season unlike any other, where the stakes are higher and the spotlight shines brighter. Betting markets and fantasy football leagues have already begun adjusting their projections, reflecting the uncertainty and potential upheaval this rumored trade could cause. While no official confirmation has been made, the possibility alone has revitalized conversations about how one player's move could transform the NFL landscape in ways few expected. In this atmosphere of anticipation, every report and leak is scrutinized, fueling the ever-growing buzz surrounding Joe Burrow and the future of the Bills and Bengals. Finally, the human element of this potential Joe Burrow trade adds a compelling layer to the narrative that fans and analysts cannot ignore. Burrow's journey from college star to NFL sensation has been marked by perseverance, leadership, and an unwavering commitment to his teams. The thought of him leaving Cincinnati, where he has become a beloved figure, evokes emotional reactions from players, coaches, and fans alike. Speculation abounds regarding how Burrow himself might feel about such a move, and what it would mean for his career aspirations and personal life. Buffalo, with its unique culture and passionate fan base, could offer a fresh start and new challenges that appeal to Burrow's competitive nature. However, the pressure of living up to high expectations in a new environment cannot be underestimated. The narrative also touches on the impact on teammates and the locker room dynamic in both cities as they adjust to the potential departure or arrival of a franchise quarterback. This human aspect adds depth to the swirling rumors, reminding everyone that beyond contracts and trades, these are real people whose lives and careers hang in the balance. As the story unfolds, fans eagerly await official word, knowing that whatever happens will be a defining chapter in Joe Burrow's career and the histories of both the Bengals and the Bills. The emotional stakes and anticipation only heighten the drama surrounding this tantalizing rumor. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.